Let's be honest, that personal trainer is garbage. First of all, everybody deserves love and respect and admiration regardless of what they look like. The problem here is that as a personal trainer, your job is to educate your client. Hi, this is Julien here, taking the fear out of fitness and helping you be the best you. Today's topic is what happens when you come in contact with the wrong personal trainer and its consequences as a result. Check this out.
I struggled with my weight since my childhood.
At the age of 14, I was about 200 pounds.
I had this personal trainer that was not very nice. They would tell me if I wanted friends, I needed to lose weight, that no one would ever love me if I'm fat. They would weigh me, so I would make myself puke before every session so that I weighed less on the scale. That really messed with me as a kid.
Let's be honest, that personal trainer is garbage. First of all, everybody deserves love and respect and admiration regardless of what they look like. The problem here is that as a personal trainer, your job is to educate your client. Yes, even at 14 years old, you're supposed to educate your client on the importances of being healthy, not fit, because obviously she is capable of moving and doing things that other people can do, because she clearly was playing softball at some point where she weighed 200 pounds at 14 years old, but she was still active. So obviously she was fit enough to actually perform in athletic sports, right? However, you decided to turn around and tell her that nobody would love her and she would not have friends if she were fat, when that's clearly not true, because there are plenty of people in this world that have friends and have loved ones and have relationships in a clinically obese state. So for someone to turn around and tell that to her at a very young age is very damaging to the psyche of an individual, to where they might never want to become a personal trainer, not even a personal trainer, excuse me, but never want to become fit. So therefore, she also admitted that she was throwing up in the bathroom before her weigh-ins because she thought it would help her lose weight to the degree where she would be able to be accepted by her personal trainer. When the truth is, also as a personal trainer, whoever her personal trainer was horrible, because if you are observant enough, you would notice that your client is throwing up in the bathroom, especially if there's rapid weight loss in certain instances. If you are checking their body fat percentages instead of their weight, you would have noticed that their muscle mass was actually decreasing over time instead of their body fat. So therefore, that personal trainer was a piece of crap and should never, ever turn around and train anybody again, in my humble opinion. I don't care who it is. It could be a celebrity trainer. It could be a trainer in the boondocks somewhere. It doesn't matter to me. That is not a good personal trainer, and I'm sorry, young lady, that you had to experience that for yourself. Let's keep going.
I did lose weight. I probably lost over 100 pounds. And I was 200, 250, but it didn't solve any of my problems.
And I was still unhappy, even though I had the body everybody always wanted.
Common misconception. Because you have the body that everybody always wanted, that you're going to be happy. But the truth is, what is really happening is that your happiness should not be tied to what your body looks like. It should be tied to everything else that goes on in life, as well as your ability to be able to function in society. The problem is that you didn't value you to begin with. That had nothing to do with the body that you acquired, because you tried to attach your self-worth to your body, and that's clearly not the way to go. The thing that should happen at this point is that you should have recognized that the reason why you were still experiencing the same problems you were always experiencing, first of all, you probably had a chip on your shoulder at that point. So people that you walked past, or people that were suddenly attracted to you, now you didn't give them the time of day because you were probably mean or nasty to them, because now they're attracted to you're attractive to them, as opposed to beforehand. Maybe also, the other factor could be that maybe your problems weren't solved because they weren't solved internally. You were still the person that you saw yourself as in the past. That's not anybody's fault. We have to turn around and accept accountability for certain things that we do. And the fact remains is that, number one, you're a large woman, regardless of whether you lost all the body fat that you needed to lose or whether you were model thin, which I don't think you would ever be, not because I am limiting your ability to lose weight, but I am also pointing out that as a larger woman, you are naturally larger. So therefore, 170, 180, 190, 200 pounds for you was possibly ideal, because from the looks of your video, of this video, you look like you're approximately about 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1", and that's naturally already large for a female. But then on top of that, adding on girth from your genetics plays a role in how heavy you are going to be. Another reason why your personal trainer's wasn't good, because they probably were trying to get you to achieve a rail thin figure when that is not who you are. Just looking at you in these videos so far clearly is evident that you're not supposed to be skinny. All right, so let's keep going.
Diet culture really bothers me. Fat people are not portrayed well in the media. We're taught that being fat is bad, and movies were always the best friend or the brunt of the joke. The internet is not a good place to talk about that, because people hate fat people.
Okay, I get it, you're hurt, but right now your bias is showing. The world doesn't want everybody to be skinny. The world wants everybody to be healthy. There is a faction of society that does not understand the difference. However, for the most part, most people do not want to see you skinny as a rail, could fit through the door while it's still cracked. That's not what this is about. It's about being healthy. I guarantee you, as you are right now, you are fit. Lizzo is fit. I'm gonna give y'all, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna say something very controversial, and y'all about to lose your minds when you hear this. Lizzo is fit, but Lizzo ain't healthy. You, young lady, are fit, but you're not healthy. I'm sure you can dance. I'm sure you can rock climb. I'm sure you can walk for long distances. I'm sure you could even possibly jog and run in certain instances. However, your body fat percentage is way out of balance. It is not healthy. You are literally right now the primary example of what I mean by working for the FBI. You have created a false positive body imagery to counterbalance the hate that you experience in life, and that is a mental issue. That is not a physical one. There's nothing that I as a personal trainer can do but tell you to go seek therapy. All right? The thing is, and I'm not saying that to be mean, I'm saying that, well, actually I am saying it to be mean, because I am talking about your mindset. I am encouraging you to be a better person. I'm holding you accountable. I'm not talking about your nutrition per se, but your nutritional health is way off base. The fact remains is that everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves respect. You should not be the butt of everybody's jokes. You should not be made fun of simply because you're fat. Yes, I am saying the word fat. You are clinically obese. That is what you are. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. You are clinically obese. There is no possible way you can tell me that 20, 30, 40 years from now, you are still going to be quite happy with the results of your life down the road with being obese. Let's start with having children in the near future, within the next 10, 15 years. If you don't have children within the next 10, 15 years, sooner, the chances are you're not gonna have them because you're clinically obese. I'm not even talking about anything in relation to whether or not somebody is going to procreate with you. I am talking about simply the difficulties of actually conceiving while being that large, okay? On top of that, let's go move on into the future, maybe about 6, 7 years past that. Diabetes kicks in. Your joints are going to start telling on you. I've been through this road before with people, and I'm trying to tell you that you don't want to be there when you get to my age, when you get to Dr. Phil's age, when you get to Brooke Burke's age, who's going to be in this video later. I promise you, you do not want to be on that plane. All right? Let's keep going.
The whole problem problem of body positivity is not just how the world views you and like how you view yourself. It's about fighting for people not being discriminated in the workplace, in fashion, in anywhere, because we're treated as second-class citizens, and that everyone's main goal in life is to be skinny.
That's just wrong because plus-size people shouldn't be ignored.
Just because you're thin doesn't mean you're better than me. Moving your body is important, but it doesn't have to be about losing weight. It can just be about feeling good.
You're 100% right. Just because somebody's skinny doesn't make them better than you. However, they're healthy. And the thing is that you can't possibly begin to understand the consequences of what you're doing simply because you think that people think that they're better than you. Nobody's better than you simply because you're skinny. And yes, moving around should be about being healthy, not about being skinny. Nobody wants skinny, all right? The thing is that unfortunately, there are going to be every different levels of the spectrum. You're going to have skinny people, you're going to have large people. It's just that simple. However, large does not mean fat, and skinny does not mean healthy, okay? And skinny does not mean unhealthy. It is what it is. As long as you're active, you're taking care of yourself, training to be healthy is the goal. No matter what, exercise should be viewed to achieve a greater sense of self so that way your health can be presentable in the future.
I am an unapologetic fat girl.
I am who I am, and you can take it or leave it because I'm always going to be happy with myself.
Talk to me in 25 years.
Abby, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. Brooke, welcome.
Thank you for having
And
me.
say hi to Robin.
Hi, Robin. How are you? Nice to see you. Hi, Abby.
Abby, you're saying how you feel about yourself shouldn't be a function of your body type, body size, whatever. And you don't disagree with that one bit, correct?
I champion that. I celebrate your point of view. I think it's very powerful.
And you say you've always been bigger, but at one point you did lose 100 pounds.
I did lose weight, but you know, it was through extreme dieting, through extreme weight loss, exercising, through calorie counting, and I didn't get to live life as a normal kid because I was stressed hanging out with friends because I was worried that we were going to eat something that I couldn't eat.
That's because your personal trainer was crappy. First of all, the journey should not be about certain things. It is about calorie counting. It is about exercise, but it's not about extreme dieting. Because your trainer decided that you needed to lose weight by any means necessary, and we're gonna get it done now. As a matter of fact, not now, yesterday. If your trainer had that attitude, this is the part of the reason why you had negative experiences in fitness and in training, because your personal trainer was not good. Like I said, it's not about me in this situation, it's about the trainer that you had, and it's about you. The problem is that your trainer wasn't good. It's just that simple. Because it was through extreme dieting, it was through fad dieting, not through proper eating techniques and proper eating tactics with proper training methods. And then on top of that, improper education is another reason why you had negative experiences. Because if I were your trainer, or if anybody that was competent was your trainer, they would turn around and start talking to you about having plans in place for when you do go out with your friends. What are you going to eat? And no, not a salad necessarily, depending on where you go, but because truthfully, the salad might be just as bad as the Big Mac. Right? So instead of doing that, you could have made modifications to your diet. Instead of having the soda, have a water. Instead of having the fries, now have a salad on the side with the Big Mac, but a light salad with the Big Mac, right? So everybody else is eating and you can eat too. Maybe you can actually go in with the strategy of drinking a lot of water before you go to the restaurant with your friends. So that way, when you do indulge with the things that you and your friends are indulging in, you won't eat as much. Instead, so that way you ate with your friends, you actually got full, you actually were satisfied because you actually tasted the cool stuff that your friends were eating, and then you don't feel guilty for having to eat it and then going to the back of the gym and throwing up before your session because your trainer already prepared you for all of this. So as a result, again, your trainer sucked. Let's keep going.
My entire life was surrounded around weight loss, and it really developed an unhealthy relationship with not only exercising. I was afraid of exercise because I thought it was a punishment, and I was afraid of eating.
She nailed it right on the head. This is a clear example of what happens when you are not being trained by the right trainer. Let's keep going.
I've said many, many times, and I'll say again today, body image and self-image vary together. They shouldn't, but generally they do.
Listen, I don't disagree with anything Dr. Phil said. He's not pandering to the audience, he's not pandering to Abby, and he's damn sure not pandering to Brooke Burke. He is telling the God's honest truth. Self-imagery, body imagery should never be synonymous because they're two different aspects of who you are as a person. Your body imagery is what you look like. Your self-imagery is what you feel you are and how you feel about yourself. Because you're large does not mean, or actually because you're fat, does not mean that you should feel bad about yourself. You should love yourself because you are a great person. If you are a great person, if you're nice, caring, loving, and treats people with kindness and respect, you deserve to have a positive self-imagery of who you are. If people respect you at your job, they come to you and look to you for advice and leadership, you should have an amazing level of self-imagery. However, your body imagery is a whole separate story. Just because you're fat doesn't mean you should feel bad about yourself. But however, you should already know that you're not healthy and that you need to do something about it, regardless of what the situation is that got you there. Whether it's through overeating, poor nutrition, whether it was through disease or some sort of hormonal imbalance, it doesn't matter. What should matter is that at the end of the day, you are healthy. Your health is about whether or not your family succeeds with you and without you. Your self-imagery is about whether your family succeeds because of you. All right? So I want you to understand again, do not tie your self-worth into what your body looks like, because regardless of whether you're fat, skinny, in between, your body is your body, and it doesn't matter what your body is, because you could be a horrible person with the quote-unquote best body in the world, or you could be the most amazing person with the worst body in the world, and I guarantee you, most people eventually will figure out, when they figure out that the person with the worst body is a very nice person, they'll turn around and take that person every day of the week over the person who has the best body and they're horrible inside. All right, let's keep going. Dr. Phil's gonna finish this up.
That's right.
Why do you feel people don't talk about obesity enough?
I think there's a lot of shame related to it. We might as well get this out on the table now, although it's still painful for my family. I lost my brother this summer, my younger brother. He died of obesity in his late 40s, died in his sleep, had no pre-existing medical conditions. My family is still not talking about it. It's a very delicate dance for me, considering the space that I'm in. It shouldn't have happened. It's very sad. It's very painful. So I'm personally committed to it. I'm personally dealing with it, healing, growing, trying to find the right words and the right narrative to help people and honor my family and respect their privacy. But I'm living that right now.
Abby, I hope you are listening to the consequences of what obesity does to people beyond the years of their youth. I hope you're listening and understanding the pain in Brooke's voice when she tells you her brother died suddenly with no warning due to obesity, no pre-existing conditions. He didn't even get to the worst ends of it. As a matter of fact, in some cases, it's sad to say, but she didn't have to go down the path of watching him suffer a stroke, suffer a heart attack, suffer cancer, all due to the fact that obesity is in the equation. She didn't have to go through that, and that's probably the positive of all of this. But the negative in all of this is that she lost her brother, somebody that I'm assuming she's very close to. The worst part about this is that her family doesn't want to talk about it because she is in Hollywood, and because she looked a certain way for the most of her life, that it is expected of her to look that way for the rest of her life. that her family doesn't want to talk about the fact that her brother was clinically obese for probably a long period of time. Because you don't just all of a sudden become clinically obese and then die immediately. That's something that happens over time, all right? So, there is a balance, and that balance is what I'm dealing with right now. I'm talking about that balance. I'm not being disrespectful to Abby at all, because I'm not trying to make her feel bad for being who she is as a person. But the thing is that without a shadow of a doubt, her health is at risk. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, may not be next week, next year, or in the next 5 to 10 years. But I guarantee you that will be the precursor to everything negative that happens to her health from this point onward. And as a result, this is why it is important for you to have a trainer that is highly competent in the scenario, as opposed to simply trying to do everything for you to be the best you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Guys, I know this was a long one. I appreciate the fact that you stayed with me on this one. Have a nice day and be the best you.